No research required. 5 credit cards you can't go wrong with. You can now earn and redeem WestJet points with Skip and get 30% back when you redeem air miles for the next week. All this and more on Rewards Canada's This Week in Rewards for November 21st, 2025. If you're looking to make most of your loyalty programs and credit card rewards, you've come to the right place. This is your weekly dose of loyalty, travel, and credit card happenings from Canada's original and leading points and miles resource, Rewards Canada. I'm your host, Patrick, and like usual, we're going to kick things off with credit cards. So this was another week where we didn't have a ton of credit card news, but we did have a new feature that we posted on Rewards Canada to help readers, viewers, and listeners. And this is for those of you who are time-strapped, time-crunched, or just do not feel like doing the research and trying to find the best rewards card for you, because it can entail a lot of hours and a lot of work to finding the right one. So we put up a new feature that is called No Research Required. It's part of our Everyday Value series. Yeah, it's the 5 credit cards you can't go wrong with. Ultimately, I'll start this off with saying, every card does not work for everybody, but there are cards that do a better job at most things than other cards, and that's kind of what this is. This is a look at the cards that will cover you in most cases in terms of rewards, because that's what people are looking for in a lot of cases, are rewards. So a feature like this helps out those who can't or don't want to or just don't have the time to do the research, but know that they want a really good credit card that will reward them on their everyday spending and help them travel more or even help them get cash back and things like that. Because a lot of these cards, while they're more travel focused, have very good cashback returns as well. That's why these are 5 cards that you really, for most people, you can't go wrong with. So some of the key things we're looking at in this feature are simplicity, so easy to earn, easy to redeem. We're looking at value, so you earn a decent amount of points and you get a good redemption rate for those points. And then also flexibility. So multiple options of using your points. You're not stuck with, say, one program or, just for groceries or things like that. You get a wide variety of potential redemptions with these cards. So that is what we look at here. So some of the key takeaways, all of these cards have good to excellent earn rates. They all have flexible reward options. I should say very flexible reward options. There's low complexity to them. You don't have to go out searching, for availability for flights or take multiple routings. I'm like pointing at, airline loyalty programs. Same thing with hotel loyalty programs. There's not a lot of that involved with this. These are just a lot of simple redemptions, which make it very easy for a lot of people because they don't have the time or they can't put in the effort to, utilize programs like Aeroplan, like Marriott, like British Airways to the full extent that people in the points and miles community do. So this is, very flexible, very easy to use, low complexity. And, a lot of these cards, they don't take a lot of work to be able to use your points. So what are the 5 rewards credit cards that you can't go wrong with, that you don't have to research? Because we've done the research for almost 25 years now and can tell you that these are the cards that will make it easy for you. Well, the first card shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody in the Rewards Canada community, or if somebody's watched our videos for at least, a year or even less. It's the American Express Cobalt card. Like, this is the best all-around rewards card in Canada, because it has very strong earn rates, 1 to 5 points per dollar. It has the most flexible redemption options, and it keeps value across all those redemption options. You get 1 to 5% for cash back for your 1 to 5 points earning, 1 to 5% for any travel that you book yourself. So you can go book with Air Canada, go book with Expedia, go book, a cruise, you name it, redeem your points against the charge. You're getting up to 5% back. Then you have your fixed points for travel. That's like an airline reward chart where you redeem points for flights at a fixed amount. That can give you up to a 10% return on your spending. And then you do get the conversion options for the more complex redemptions. And that's converting to like Air Canada, Aeroplan, British Airways Club, Air France, KLM Flying Blue, Marriott Bonvoy, and multiple other programs. So as you can see, the card just gives you every option out there. I tell a lot of people that this should be in their wallets. Like, pretty much all Canadians should have this card in their wallet, unless you are a 100% shopper at somewhere that doesn't accept Amex, which is very rare. I mean, McDonald's takes Amex, Starbucks takes Amex, a lot of gas stations, pretty much all gas stations take Amex. Most grocery stores outside of Loblaw stores take Amex. That whole notion that Amex isn't very widely accepted, it's not that true. It's roughly about 90% of MasterCard and Visa. So a lot of people can make use of the American Express. I mean, there's some of you, of course, there are some rural towns where there might not be that much acceptance on Amex, but I've been in some. I've been, made a lot of trips to Saskatchewan, to small town Saskatchewan, and the majority of places did take Amex. So I guess you have to find out, what works for you. But that's also why we have 5 cards on this list, because if you're Amex averse, then other cards on this list will probably be better for you. But know that the Amex Cobalt card is pretty much the all-around winner for travel rewards when it comes to anything to do with travel, but even cash back. We rank it as the third best cashback card, and that's just by a slight margin. It is an excellent cashback card too, that 1 to 5% back. Most cashback cards in Canada can't even beat that. So just know that it is also an excellent cashback card. So that's why it is a no research required card, because it is so good. Next on the list, we have the Scotiabank Passport Visa Infinite card. So this card was just voted as the best overall credit card in our Canada's Choice Awards. Scotiabank Passport Visa Infinite card, again, very flexible. If you're not familiar with the Scene Plus program, well, the new Scene Plus program, it's not just for movies anymore. You can redeem for any travel at any time when you have one of the credit cards, like this Passport Visa Infinite card. So that means you can go to Air Canada, you can go to WestJet, you can go to Expedia, you name it. You book it and pay for it on this card, and then you redeem points against the charge, just like the Cobalt card. Same thing here. This is just so flexible. Decent points earning. This is when I say, these cards have good to very good points earning. This one's on a little bit on the lower side, but it's not terrible. It's 1 to 3 points per dollar that you are spending on your card. So that's a 1 to 3% return when you redeem it for any travel. You get that same return too when you redeem for Scene Plus partners. So like at the grocery stores like Sobeys and Safeway, places like that, you'll get that same return as you're doing for travel. So again, it comes down to that flexibility and ease of using these points. No research required. It's a really good card, but why this card really shines is it is probably the best travel card in Canada. And I want to make that distinction. Travel and travel rewards are two different things. Cobalt card, best travel rewards card. Passport Infinite, probably the best travel card, because it has a lot of benefits for when you're traveling. And the big one is no foreign transaction fees. So you don't pay that 2.5% on average. I mean, there's cards up to 3% now when you are making purchases that are not in Canadian dollars. So whether you're traveling outside of Canada or even online shopping from outside of Canada, most credit cards are charging you 1.5% to 3%. This card does not charge you that. And you still earn the 1 and 2 points per dollar outside of Canada as well. 3 times points is only at Scene Plus grocery stores. So you don't really look at that outside of Canada. Like I said, it's good for any travel, anytime. It's good for those Scene Plus partner redemptions. Its main weakness, it's cash back compared to something like the Cobalt card, a little bit worse. When you do statement credits with this card, it's a little bit lower. Still not terrible. It's pretty competitive with a lot of cashback cards, but definitely this is more travel focused. But again, another card that really doesn't need a lot of research. I should throw in there as well that has airport lounge access with 6 free lounge visits per year. So there, like I said, this is why this is the kind of best all-around travel card. It may not be the best travel rewards card, but it does travel rewards well, but it does travel well as well. Too many wells in there, but that's why it is probably the best all-around card in Canada when it comes to travel. Next up on the list is the TD First Class Travel Visa Infinite card. Similar to the Scotiabank Passport Visa Infinite card, it's got pretty decent earn rates. Actually, I'd say it's on the higher end of earn rates, but then its redemption rates kind of fluctuate. It's really good if you redeem through their travel portal, Expedia for TD. You get a little bit less value for any travel anytime, but it's still really good in that department as well. Cashback gets a little bit lower as well. That's kind of the kind of the weakness on the card, but it still does cashback pretty decently compared to a lot of cashback cards. Has a huge welcome bonus right now, 165,000 points. It's the best out of these 5 cards. Actually has the best welcome bonus. First year free as well, so you can't really go wrong with this card as well. Again, another pretty decent card for travel. Now it does charge FX fees, unlike the Scotiabank Passport, so that's why we kind of think the Passport Visa Infinite is better. But this one also has airport lounge access with 4 passes per year. Has a $100 credit you can use for I think booking hotels through Expedia for TD. So again, a lot of good things. Another card that I feel like doesn't need any research. It will do a good job for a lot of people in Canada. Now bring us to our 4th card, and it goes back to Scotia. So I'm not going to go as deep into this one because it's the Scene Plus program. I've already kind of explained how Scotia cards work with any travel, anytime. That is the Scotiabank Gold American Express card. This is a points earning machine, just like the American Express Cobalt card. You're earning 1 to 6 points per dollar spent, which is a 1 to 6% return for any travel at any time. So in fact, if you are only looking for any travel at any time, this card is better than the Cobalt card. If you don't need the conversion options to, the airlines, if you're not going to do cash back like you could with the Cobalt card, if you're strictly wanting an any travel, anytime card, and that is your reward goal, without any research, but you just know I just want to use points towards any travel I book, this is the card to get, because you're getting 5 times points on groceries, 6 times points at groceries at the Scene Plus grocery stores, 3 times points on gas. It has a lot of accelerators and has high annual caps on those accelerated earn rates as well. So you have the option to earn a lot of points on this card, get really good any travel, anytime redemption rates, and it's also no foreign transaction fees. The only difference between this card and the Passport Visa Infinite, when you're traveling outside of Canada and you use it at a store, you're only going to earn 1 times points, whereas the Passport Infinite will still earn it's 2 times points on things like dining and groceries, things like that. So the Passport has a little bit stronger earning outside of Canada, but weaker earning within Canada, because this is the points earning machine for a Scotiabank Scene Plus program. And the last card in this no research required everyday value series is the Avion Rewards World Elite MasterCard. Another excellent card, points earning machine. It's the 3rd points earning machine that we classify. We only classify 3 of them as points earning machines in Canada: the Cobalt card, Scotiabank Gold Amex, and this one. You're earning 1 to 5 points per dollar. It gives you a 10% birthday bonus. You're earning up to 5.5 points per dollar. You can redeem those points for travel via Avion Rewards, which gives you up to 5.5% return. It's got a little bit lower cashback return, but still it's 0.83% to 4.57% return in cashback, which is really big. In fact, we rank it as the 2nd best cashback card in Canada, just ahead of the Cobalt card, just slightly ahead because of that 4.57 kind of average earn rates. And that's, we have these calculations for kind of an average cashback. Like I said, it's very close. For me personally, as a cashback card, I'd still go with Cobalt over this one, but for some people, this one is better because it is a MasterCard, right? So you have a little bit better acceptance. You can use it at Costco. Although there's better cards if you're a huge Costco shopper, because this one's only going to work out to like 0.83 to 1% return at Costco. But if you look at the big picture, only want one MasterCard, this gives you a lot of good earn rates in other categories. So you can do any travel anytime on this card, and it's just their kind of cashback redemption rate. So you're getting that 0.83 to 4.57 for any travel anytime. Still one of the best cards for that as well in the market. I'd say out of the 5 cards here, this is probably the toughest one to go with, if I can use a word. It's not really tough because it's a really good card that a lot of people should be considering using. And it is the only MasterCard on this list. We have 2 Visas, 2 Amex, and 1 MasterCard. So if you need a MasterCard, this is a really good one. And those are the 5 credit cards that you can't go wrong with, that you don't have to research. You can pick one of those ones, pick multiple ones. A lot of these cards combined together work really well, like that Scotia Passport Visa Infinite with the Scotiabank Gold American Express card. You have one that's a huge points earning machine, and you have one that gives you excellent travel benefits and insurance coverage. So with the 2 of them, it's a very good 1-2 punch for the Scene Plus program in any travel at any time. There'll be a link in the description below for the full feature. You can check it out, but I actually didn't write very much for this feature because you don't want to be researching. This is you just wanting to go out and get a card. These are the ones that you can't go wrong with. Like I said, there wasn't a ton of news in credit cards, but we did learn this week, thanks to a few people on Red Flag Deals when we were chatting about credit card car rental insurance, that CIBC actually upped the MSRP limit on their credit cards, on their infinite and infinite privilege cards. And this is like a thing we've been pushing for so long, saying that credit card companies, their insurance coverage for car rentals has not kept up with the price of cars. Most cards in Canada only cover cars of up to 65,000 or 85,000 Canadian dollars MSRP. Except for the Diners Club Rewards MasterCard, which has unlimited. There's no cap on the MSRP, but all other cards are 65, 85, and cars have gotten way more expensive. I've had many rentals where it's been over even 85,000, but luckily I do have that Diners Club card, so I didn't have to worry. Well, CIBC has upped theirs. So their Visa Infinite cards, all of theirs, their Aeroplan and Aventura and Dividend cashback cards, all now cover $85,000 MSRP, up from 65. And then the infinite privileges, so Aeroplan and Aventura, those ones cover up to $100,000. So much better coverage for those. And let's just wait to see if other banks will follow. Hopefully they do, because that 65,000 found on the majority cards here in Canada, that's not going to cover that many rental cars anymore. With the prices of these cars just keep going up and up and up. So hopefully CIBC has set the trend, and we're going to see more credit card issuers and their insurance providers up the MSRP rates on their rental car coverage. And I'll close out credit cards with just your last chance notice on the RBC increased bonus offers on their Avion cards and their Ion cards. So the Avion Visa Infinite and Visa Platinum, which are being offered with up to 55,000 bonus points. We've covered this in a previous video. Those offers end November 25th and they are not being extended nor improved. So that gives you a good hint there. So if you had your eye on one of these cards, you'll want to apply for them by November 25th. Of course, it's a great time right now because there's the 30% transfer bonus to British Airways until December 19th. So you should hopefully get that 35,000 points, which is the first part of the bonus, by December 19th, so you can transfer it to BA if you need, and then you can get the additional 20,000 when you spend $5,000 in 6 months on the card for that 55,000 points. So just remember those end November 25th, and then also the elevated bonuses on the Ion card, which is 11,000 Avion points and 21,000 on the Ion Plus card. Those also end on November 25th. So if you've had your eye on any of those cards, now's the time to grab them in the next 4 days here if you can. And thank you to anybody and everybody who applies for these cards through our links, which will be in the description below. That is how you support Rewards Canada, and that is how you support Rewards Canada, our YouTube channel, and continue our mission of giving the utmost in-depth loyalty program and credit card coverage in Canada, all for free. All right, so that brings us into loyalty and travel news. So the big loyalty travel news this week is the launch of another linked loyalty partnership, and that is between WestJet Rewards and Skip. So we have talked about this one a few times. We knew this partnership was coming. We didn't know what it would entail, but now we do. So the partnership actually just launched this past Wednesday, which was the 19th of November. So now WestJet Rewards members can link their accounts to their Skip accounts, and then you'll be able to earn WestJet points on select offers in the Skip app when you order, through the Skip app. You can also redeem WestJet points for Skip credits. And right now, as part of the celebration of the launch, when you do link your accounts, you're going to get 500 WestJet points. That's $5 worth of points right there. And you'll get a 6-month Skip Plus membership for free as well. As long as you haven't had the one linked from CIBC previously, then you should be able to get this offer. Basically, very simple how it works. Once you have it linked, you'll receive an email from Skip within 48 hours so that you can get your Skip Plus membership and get that set up. Please note that you have to set up a credit card in the Skip Plus portion of the app. Otherwise, it won't let you set this up. So just know that as you're approaching that 6 months, you'll want to cancel if you don't want to continue with Skip Plus, because otherwise they'll start charging your credit card. But we went through, trying to set this up. It wasn't anywhere in the FAQs that you had to link a credit card in the Skip Plus portion, but you do to get it. So when you get that code, just know that that has to happen in your Skip account. In terms of earning WestJet points, there are going to be new offers every Wednesday. I'm surprised they didn't have any this first Wednesday. You'd think that, building on the hype of getting this launched and getting everybody linked, the 500 points is great. I mean, that's a great sign-up bonus. So is the 6 months of Skip Plus. Great bonus. That's good in its own right. But I felt like they had an opportunity here to get people ordering right away. It's like, let's have some WestJet offers right off the bat, get people engaged, get them moving. But so hopefully next Wednesday, which will be the 26th of November, hopefully we'll see the first batch of WestJet offers. And then redeeming WestJet points with Skip works as a conversion option. You're gonna have to go into your WestJet Rewards account and choose to convert your points into Skip credits. Basically, you'll navigate to the offer section for the Skip partnership and follow the steps there to complete the conversion. They're almost available right away in your Skip account so that you can use them, on your next order. It works out anywhere from 3,100 points gets you a $25 Skip credit to 12,400 points will get you a $100 Skip credit. So the value is definitely less than using it towards flights within the WestJet program, but perhaps you're someone maybe who's not traveling very much, or you're somebody who has a lot more WestJet points than you know what to do with, so it makes sense to convert to Skip. This is very similar to a lot of coalition programs in the past. There are certain core primary redemptions where you get the most or best value, and then they have alternate redemption options for those who can't use those primary redemption avenues. So something like Skip just provides more wide-ranging value for the program. For me, most likely I will not be using it. I'll always use it for flights, but for some of you, it probably makes sense to convert your WestJet points to Skip credits. Let us know actually in the comments below if you would ever consider converting your WestJet points over to Skip credits. All right, next up in loyalty, Air Canada has launched their highly anticipated Black Friday offers like they do every year with Aeroplan. So many member deals. I'm actually not even going to go into it. The video itself would probably be over an hour long, going over every single offer. It seems like this year there's more offers than ever. There's a flurry of offers. That's the word I've been using. Flights, hotels, car rentals. The flights are discounts. Hotels, there's redemption discounts for hotel savers. Car rentals, you can earn bonus Aeroplan points, or you can get a discount on redemptions for car rentals. There's 10 times points through the Aeroplan e-store with select retailers, bonuses with Uber, Starbucks, you name it, Bell. The list goes on. Gift cards, buying Air Canada gift cards, there's bonuses. I'm just going right off the top of my head from I wrote this article. Just hit the link below to be taken to our Black Friday page for Air Canada Aeroplan, because there are so many offers that you can take advantage of with this to earn a lot more points or to save points on redemptions. And then we'll have more coverage during the course of this week on their flight offers, as I believe they said they're going to have different offers every day or a day, I don't know, something like that. I'm trying to remember the email here, but just know that we're covering this a lot. We have our Black Friday deals page. I'll talk about that a little bit more here. There are so many offers out there right now. I remember every year now we've been doing this for Black Friday, Cyber Week. There are so many new offers. We do our best to cover them all. And one that covers kind of this week, it's not really a Black Friday, Cyber Week offer, but that is Air Miles has brought back their Redeem Big event. So this is just like last November. You can get 30% back in miles when you redeem miles for Dream Miles or Cash Miles redemptions. So if you do a Dream Miles redemption, this could be travel, merchandise, entertainment. When you redeem 250 or more miles in one redemption, you'll get 30% back. So that means you'll get a minimum of 75 miles back. Throughout the entire promotion, you can get up to 1,500 miles back across your Dream Miles redemptions. And then Cash Miles redemptions is also 30%, and that works on any one of 95 or more. That's what you need. You need 95 for Cash Miles. So what does that work out to? 28 miles on a single redemption, and you can bump that up all the way to 114 miles maximum throughout this promotion. This runs from November 21st to 28th. This could very well be the very last redemption event of Cash Miles and Dream Miles, because remember, January 25th, 2026, all Air Miles become one currency and they'll just be miles at that time. The next big loyalty news for this past week was from Hilton Honors. So they did a major revamp to the program, primarily on the elite status side of things. We're seeing lower requirements to earn gold status and diamond status, a new diamond reserve tier, which we kind of had hints of before, which we talked about on the website. I can't remember if I talked about it in the video here, but yeah, so there's a new diamond reserve elite level. And then there's a few other changes. I'll go through them right here, right now for you guys. So gold elite status. It used to take 40 nights or 20 stays. Now it's going to be 25 nights and 15 stays. So that's a really good option. Or just $6,000 in qualifying spend, US dollars that is, to qualify for gold Hilton status. Now remember, if you have the platinum card from American Express, you automatically get Hilton Gold, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, if you're going for diamond, you now only need 50 nights instead of 60, or 25 stays instead of 30, or you can also qualify with US $11,500 in spending. So any of those, so basically great news that the elite status has become easier to earn for Hilton, which is really good for Canadians, because in the US they have the Hilton cards, the credit cards that make earning elite status very easy in the program, but outside of the US it's quite a bit harder, like for us Canadians, unless you're playing the US credit card game. But if you're not playing that game, you're earning it on stays, or spend on your stays. So now you can earn that status a lot easier, or just get yourself the platinum card and you got the Hilton Gold as well. And then you have the new diamond reserve level. So this is their new top tier level, and this requires 80 nights or 40 stays, and the keyword is and, not or, $18,000 in qualifying spending, and that's US $18,000. It's a pretty big requirement to get Diamond Reserve, but once you do, you're going to get more benefits. You're going to have higher earning, all those things. But the big benefit that comes with this new Diamond Reserve is a confirmable upgrade reward. So what this does is it allows members to lock in a premium room upgrade right at the time of booking. You don't have to, try and get an upgrade later on. You can confirm it right when you book. So that's a great option for Diamond Reserves, and that is good for up to 7 nights on a single booking. So really good benefit if you are somebody who is a Hilton loyalist and are staying with Hilton 80 nights a year or 40 stays, or of course spending $18,000 US. The other changes in the program, there's lower earning rates at Homewood Suites and Spark by Hilton. Those are going from 10 points per dollar to 5 points per dollar. That's US dollar, by the way. And that happens as of January 8th. This is noteworthy because Spark is making or at least Hilton is growing the Spark brand significantly here in Canada. So a lot of the Hilton hotels that are coming up and recently that have opened are the Spark brand, so there's going to be lower earn rates. So just be aware of that starting January 8th, your earn rate is cut in half at those hotels, and Homewood Suites as well. It's being cut in half. There's a few more changes, but the last one I'll cover here in the video is the elite rollover nights are ending. They're not going to allow you to roll over elite nights. So elite rollover nights, if you're not familiar with those, are any elite nights over and above what you used to qualify. So say you had that 60 for Diamond, but you stayed 65 nights, 5 nights would roll over to your qualifying status for the next year. They are ending that probably because they have lowered the requirements for the other, for Gold and Diamond. So no more elite rollover nights. I'm surprised that they did this though, because once you hit Gold, or maybe once you hit Diamond, and you may not stay enough to make the next level higher, which would be, Gold to Diamond or Diamond to Diamond Reserve, you may just switch brands. I'm just like, well, you know what? I'm going to have 15 stays. I'm going to go stay with, I don't know, Choice or Marriott and earn my elite status with them. So I'll have status with 2 brands for the following year. So I am a little surprised that they didn't keep elite rollover nights, because it's a good way to keep people in your brand and not going to chase other hotel status once they've reached, a certain status level within your own brand. And I'll quickly just touch upon some new route news that we posted to the website from various airlines. The big one was WestJet announcing a lot of their summer 2026 international schedule. Flights to Cardiff, Copenhagen, Lisbon, Medellin, their first flights to South America, their first flights to Portugal, their first flights to Denmark. And Cardiff hasn't been served from Canada in years. If I recall correctly, what Airline Routes had mentioned, that it was Zoom Airlines was the last one serving Cardiff. So it's nice to see, that city come back to the Canadian market. WestJet, big expansion. Most of those flights are out of Halifax. Some are out of Toronto, like Medellin is out of Toronto. And then they also added more flights to Iceland. Last year they added Calgary to Iceland. Now they have Edmonton and Winnipeg to Reykjavik. Keflavik, but Reykjavik, pretty much the same thing. So they've added those, and they say there's even more routes going to be coming in the new year. So probably, I would imagine, more out of Calgary and Vancouver. But right now is more of a focus out east, and of course Edmonton and Winnipeg as well. So really good news for their new routes for WestJet. And the other big one, we finally know when Iberia is launching their Toronto to Madrid flight. So they've been kind of teasing this or talking about they're going to start Toronto flights. Well, they start June 2026, going to be 5 times weekly on board their Airbus A321 XLR. Features, I think 18 business class, lie flat business class seats, 148 economy class seats. Great news for those in the Avios ecosystem. So if you're, that 30% transfer bonus from RBC Avion to British Airways, well, you can use that for Iberia flights, because you can move your Avios from British Airways Club over to Iberia Club, or you can just redeem through British Airways, but more than likely Iberia is the better option. But you can check both ways before you convert, so you has the less taxes and fees and things like that on those redemptions. So really good news. Of course, that's also good news for the Cobalt card, which we mentioned at the start of the video, for the no research required cards, because that earns up to 5 Avios per dollar. So huge actually earning for these Iberia flights and any flights within the ecosystem of Avios and British Airways, Iberia, Finnair, Qatar Airways, and the list goes on. And that is it for loyalty and travel news. Normally I would do the Rewards Canada bonus blast right now, but this video has already been long enough, and hasn't been a ton of bonuses, but they're really going to come up really fast right now because of Black Friday, Cyber Week. There's so many that come out. The big one this week was the 100% bonus on buying Aeroplan points. I'll just put a link below, just because we're covering so much. There's Preferred Hotels, I haven't published this yet, but they have their annual Black Friday 35,000 bonus points offer. Sonesta Hotels, 2,500 points. More rewards. This is on the site, 5 times points on travel bookings. There are just so many offers out there. So like I was saying earlier in the video, I would talk about this more. We have a Black Friday, Cyber Week, holiday deals page where we summarize all these offers, just because there's so many, so it's best to put in one place. We do put articles out there for some of the more notable offers, like the 100% bonus on buying Aeroplan points. I'll have one, like I said, on the Preferred Hotels, the 35,000 point offer, but all the other offers and just the cyber deals, IHG cyber offer, IHG Hotel Cyber Week offer launched today. We had the notice of Marriott, which we let you guys know on the website earlier of what their offer is this year, but it doesn't launch until next week. These are all on that page. You can find at rewardscanada.ca/holiday-deals.html. Of course, the link will be in the description below as well. As always, before you do book any travel, be sure to check out the Rewards Canada bonus offer section and that Black Friday deals page, because there are so many deals out there to earn extra points and miles on your travels, whether it's flights, hotels, car rentals, and nobody covers the bonus offers better than Rewards Canada and our global site frequentflyerbonuses.com. You can find so many deals and people are not taking advantage of them. They are leaving those points on the table. They're leaving money on the table. So check it out, rewardscanada.ca/bonuses.html. A quick reminder that you'll find links to all the topics we've covered in today's video in the description below. And if you liked today's video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel if you don't do so yet, hit the notification bell so you're notified when we do post new videos, share the video with friends, family, coworkers, anybody you think can benefit and wants to earn more miles, more points, and more rewards, and leave us a comment below, whether it's a question or it's a clarification or correction, or if you just want to say hi. We do our best to respond to everybody's comments. And that's all she wrote for this week. Be sure to check out rewardscanada.ca on a daily basis and or our socials on a daily basis, because we are covering so many things that do not make it into this video. There are flash offers, and right now, especially with Black Friday, Cyber Week, there are so many offers that are short term. They may not even make it into our newsletter, but at the very least, you should be subscribing to that newsletter, because every Friday it's a roundup of all the loyalty and credit card coverage. You will learn everything in that newsletter. It comes out every Friday. And then Saturdays is our Rewards Canada bonus bulletin. That is where we do list all of the bonus miles and points offers that we've added to the website for that week. It is your ticket to earning more miles and more points so that you can redeem for more rewards. Thank you everybody for tuning in this week. Have yourselves a great weekend. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.